Jaguar's XK Convertible is a high-performance grand tourer that also aims to offer the heart and soul of a sports car as it combines refined performance and luxury in equal measure. The gloriously melodious 5-litre V8 engines offer the perfect accompaniment, and roof down, you can enjoy them even more. Think of a quintessentially British luxury convertible sports car. The kind of classy Riviera conveyance Audrey Hepburn would have chosen. A perfect reward for a lifetime's endeavour. If you're anything like me, then this is the car that'll come to mind. Jaguar's XK Convertible. It's been around since 2006, but there's been a fair degree of evolvement over that time. First with the replacement of the normally aspirated and supercharged variants of the original 4.2-litre V8 with a 5-litre version of that unit in 2009. Then with a styling update and the introduction of a supercar-slaying XKR-S flagship version in 2012. It's all been necessary, for in the later stages of this model's product cycle, we've seen new generation versions of all three of this car's closest competitors, the Mercedes SL, the BMW 6 Series Convertible and the Porsche 911 Cabriolet. Mind you, some things haven't changed. Throughout the life of this car, the convertible part of its appealing formula has remained the same. The beautifully crafted triple-lined fabric roof raising and lowering in less than 18 seconds, disappearing into the bodywork when retracted to be concealed by a carefully crafted aluminium tonneau cover. It's still one of the most beautiful cars of its kind, but can it still stack up against its more modern rivals? Let's find out. On paper, there's no real dynamic reason why a Jaguar XK can't be one of the tautest, most responsive performance sports cars out there. It has a very stiff, modern chassis, a powerful engine and a quick-witted 6-speed automatic gearbox with slick, wheel-mounted paddle shifters. Now, you wouldn't have thought it a huge step from here to Porsche perfection. Yet the XK has never quite managed it. Until now? Well, let's press the gently heartbeat-throbbing engine starter button and find out. First impressions are good as the lovely Jaguar Drive rotary selector glides slowly up into the palm of your hand and the 5-litre V8 growls into life before settling back into a loud but contented purr. You ready? If you're in a normally aspirated XK, the 380 brake horsepower 5-litre V8 that'll beat beneath the bonnet will wallop the car to 62 miles an hour in just 5.5 seconds and onto a limited top speed of 155 miles an hour. This is a glorious engine, ever eager to rev with a wonderful burble that becomes an almost angry snarl as you ascend the rev range. Switch the rotary selector into manual mode and the exhaust even pops and crackles as you go down the standard 6-speed automatic gearbox using the tactile steering wheel mounted paddles. If you're fortunate enough to be driving a supercharged XKR like this one, then you don't have to travel very far before you understand one thing very clearly. This is a very fast car indeed. The 5-litre V8 it uses may essentially be the same as that of the standard model, but the addition of a supercharger to this unit is enough for ballistic performance. Even a gradual stroke of your right foot is enough to see quite a number of the 503 available braked horses make a break for freedom. Such is the low-down torque of this engine. Its peak on offer from as little as 2,500 RPM, at which point you're starting to fully appreciate the multi-layered pulsing V8 bellow with its accompanying but unobtrusive supercharging scream. 62 miles an hour from rest flashes by unnoticed in just 4.8 seconds, less than a second and a half slower than the Porsche 911 Turbo that would cost you £40,000 more. But the really telling increment is the 50 to 70 miles an hour overtaking one, demolished in under 2 seconds. The 25% improvement this represents over what you get in an ordinary XK might not sound much, but on the road, it's the difference between picking off one overtaking victim or a whole queue of them. Flat out, with the nannying 155 mph speed limiter removed, this would be a 190 mph car, as indeed it is in its ultimate 542 brake horsepower XKR-S, guys. This, the fastest and most powerful sports car Jaguar has ever produced. If ever you were tempted to wonder just how much of a supercar a Jaguar XK could be, with extra power, sharper handling, more extreme looks, and an exclusive Ferrari-style interior, then wonder no more. This is that car, complete with requisite six-figure price tag. This flagship version's appeal doesn't shine out too brightly from the balance sheet. The 4.4 second 0 to 62 mph figure is, after all, just 0.4 seconds faster than that of an XKR. But that's because its appeal is more tactile, rawer, and more emotional, as it needed to be. Many will think the louder, crisper engine note worth the price of admission all on its own, though your neighbours may not agree. More importantly, the handling creates the closest thing to a Porsche 911 we've yet seen with an XK badge, thanks to much sharper steering, reprogrammed damper and differential controls, wider tyres and lighter wheels. The spring rates are also 28% stiffer, though fortunately this doesn't seem to be enough to completely spoil the supple high-speed ride. The ride, in fact, is the thing that sets any XK apart from its German rivals, and has been further enhanced in recent years by the adoption of what Jaguar calls adaptive dynamics. Now, it's a system that continually monitors steering response, brake input, wheel position, body motion and throttle settings, then millisecond by millisecond adapting the Bilstein dampers to suit. It's far better than the old and rather crude selectable soft or hard damping system, automatically choosing the right setup for the mood that you're in and the road that you're on. Put simply, it's a confidence thing. The car now always feels as if it's working with you, which is nice to have when you've the kind of power under your right foot that Formula One drivers used to have back in the mid-70s. If you want to stay permanently in red mist mode, pressing this checkered flag logoed dynamic button will not only keep the suspension firm and the gear changes quick, but also let the engine sing more lustily as the exhaust silencers are bypassed. Brilliant. Go a step further and select Track DSC, one of 4 modes in the dynamic stability control setup, and you really need to be on a racetrack, for here there's enough slip allowed for you to hang the back out, though with a helpful safety net built in should your enthusiasm exceed your talent. If this Jaguar could only replicate its Porsche rival's pin-sharp steering, then it'd now be right on the 911's tail. In an XKR, in doing all of this, you'll have already appreciated another great handling aid: active differential control. It's there to generate extra traction on all kinds of surfaces in all kinds of conditions, but you notice it most the first time that you throw this Jaguar into a corner. That's when the system can instantly divert torque to the outside rear wheel to stop the tail beginning to slide. So the car always feels planted, shifting its weight through the corners with the lithe confidence of a world-class downhill skier. It all further emphasises that feeling that I was talking about of complete control, complete confidence in its abilities. The faster you go, the better it feels. Especially if you're in a convertible model like the one I have here. The noise any XK makes is one of its biggest selling points, and being able to drop the roof down and get a little more exposure to the angry bark the V8 engine delivers only makes this open-top version's appeal all the greater. The Coventry engineers are keen to emphasise that this Jaguar was designed right from the outset in convertible form, so body rigidity is very little affected by the roofless stance. Something that you can convert to either stationary or at low speeds in less than 18 seconds. The triple layered fabric top disappearing into the bodywork when retracted, to be concealed by a neat aluminium tonneau cover. Be honest, you want one, don't you? You probably wouldn't be watching this otherwise. The dramatic, seductively sweeping curves of the bodywork are supposed to have been inspired by those of actress Kate Winslet, according at least to stylist Ian Callum. This was his first Jaguar design, and it was also the first of the brand's sports cars to feature the aluminium construction, supposed to make this model 30% stiffer and 100 kilograms lighter than its XK8 predecessor. You wouldn't know this, of course, from looking at the shapely profile, and to be frank, you wouldn't guess the fact from looking at the stats either. This car's 1.7-ton curb weight makes it no lighter than a rival Mercedes SL, and that car has to carry a heavy metal folding roof. Still, forget the facts, just revel in the contemporary fusion of power, style and uncompromised luxury, which according to Jaguar is what we have here. It certainly remains an assured piece of work, with the oval front grille and the way the rear cabin tapers in over the haunches, both classic E-Type inspired touches. Even the front badge is a nod to that illustrious sports coupe. The car looks sinewy and muscular, the sheet metal stretched over something seriously purposeful. Not that the whole look hasn't needed refreshment, as you'd expect it would, given a spell on the market that dates all the way back to 2006. The 2012 model year wash and brush up saw the adoption of slimmer front headlamps that incorporate LED signal functions and running lights. Combined with a larger grille and a sleeker bumper design, this all gives the XK a bit more rear view mirror recognition. XKR specific bits include a more aggressive colour-keyed front bumper that, if not quite as extreme as the one you get on an XKR-S, is certainly menacing enough to scatter fast-lane dawdlers as you bear down upon them. Incorporating tall air intakes on each side that complement potent side power vents and old-school bonnet louvers. As you walk round the car, you glimpse R-logoed brake calipers peeping out through enormous 20-inch alloy wheels. While below the LED lamps at the back, there's a revised lower valance. Opt for a convertible version like the one I have here, and you'll find that, like Porsche and BMW, but unlike Mercedes, Jaguar has opted for a fabric hood. This triple layered roof rising or falling in less than 18 seconds and slotting neatly beneath an aluminium tonneau cover when not in use. You'd expect the ragtop approach to facilitate a larger boot than would be possible on a metal folding top rival like a Mercedes SL. In fact, the XK still lags a little behind the 364 litres available from its Stuttgart competitor. Still, at least the 313 litres you get from this convertible is only 17 litres less than you get from the coupe. And that's almost 3 times what you get from a Porsche 911 Cabriolet, enough to make the difference between pleasant packing into conventional suitcases for a weekend break and uncomfortable cramming of your designer clothes into squashy bags. Inside the wonderful, snug yet spacious leather and Alcantara-clad cabin, owners of earlier models will notice that the fit, finish and choice of materials is noticeably more upmarket once they've adjusted to the replacement of the original XK's J-gate auto gear lever with this neat rotary Jaguar drive selector. It rises up into the palm of your hand after you press a start button that pulses red on the centre console, while all around you the dashboard illuminates and the cabin features are highlighted in a cool phosphor blue. At the same time, the 7-inch colour touchscreen that dominates the centre of the dash lights up, controlling satellite navigation, climate control, Bluetooth phone functionality and in-car audio. Around it, dark wood veneer and aluminium trim supply the necessary sporting ambience, and as ever in an XK, electric adjustment of both wheel and seat mean that it's easy to find the ideal driving position. Behind you, all models offer a couple of occasional small child-orientated seats that will doubtless be more usually used for the carriage of designer jackets or shopping bags. List pricing suggests that for a convertible XK you'll need a budget that starts at just over £70,000 for the 380 brake horsepower V8 version and around £85,000 for a 510 brake horsepower V8 supercharged XKR. The 542 brake horsepower XKR-S convertible requires an £18,000 premium over its XKR counterpart, so sells at just above the £100,000 mark. If you're comparing against the Coventry company's slightly smaller F-Type convertible, then an open-top XK is around £13,000 more than a comparably performing F-Type V6. An open-top XKR, like the one I've got here, is around £17,000 more than a comparably quick F-Type V6S, and an open-top XKR-S is around £23,000 more than a comparably quick F-Type V8S. But in truth, the F-Type and this XK are rather different cars. This one more luxury orientated and better suited to long distance grand touring, but still more than able to mix it with German competitors when owners feel the need to. The XK convertible has three main rivals. The metal folding roofed Mercedes SL350 costs about the same, but you'll save around £5,000 by opting for BMW's 640i convertible. The Porsche 911 Carrera Cabriolet PDK costs a substantial £13,000 more. A convertible XKR like the one I have here costs £5,000 more than a rival Mercedes SL500. It's also £10,000 more than a comparable BMW 650i convertible, but £10,000 less than a rival Porsche 911 Carrera-S Cabriolet PDK. Finally, there's the Flagship XKR-S convertible. The £105,000 budget that'll get you one of those would also buy you a 4.2-litre Audi R8 Spider S-Tronic, or if you opted for either an Aston Martin V8 Vantage Roadster Sport Shift, a BMW M6 convertible, or a Maserati Gran Cabrio 4.7 V8, you'd have a little change left over for extras. But a Mercedes SL63 AMG is £7,000 more, and a Porsche 911 Turbo Cabriolet PDK over £23,000 more. In making all of these comparisons, you'll need to bear in mind that an XK comes much better equipped than its mainly German rivals. A Porsche 911, for example, charges a substantial amount extra for the touchscreen satellite navigation that the XK offers as standard. With a 911, you also have to pay extra for an automatic gearbox and for many of the handling refinements packaged into Jaguar's standard adaptive dynamics system. Now, that's a setup that'll also give this XK an advantage over a standard spec 6 Series or SL. Other standard Jaguar features include bi-xenon HID auto headlamps, front and rear parking sensors, rain-sensing wipers, and alloy wheels that on XKR models rise in size to 20 inches, up from the 18-inch wheels you get on the standard XK and the 19 inches you get on the plusher XK Portfolio version. You also get heated leather seats, cruise control with a speed limiter, keyless start, and Bluetooth connectivity via a 7-inch colour touchscreen display you also use to access a 525-watt audio setup that of course has DAB radio, aux-in, USB and iPod connectivity. Tyre pressure monitoring and power folding mirrors are the only real omissions of note. An XKR like this one benefits from all the features fitted to the plusher version of the standard XK, the Portfolio model I just mentioned. These include a soft grain leather interior and a suede cloth premium headlining, along with heated and cooled seats, a heated leather steering wheel, and a more powerful Bowers & Wilkins stereo system with 6-disc in-fascia CD changer. XKR-specific equipment includes an active differential control, a heated windscreen, this rear spoiler, quad exhaust pipes, body-coloured side power vents, revised instrumentation, restyled front and rear bumpers, and bonnet louver supercharged motifs. As for options, well, I'd want to look at the reverse parking camera and the adaptive front lighting system with its dynamic pivoting headlamps that turn with the corners. I'd also want to tick the box for 3 features only standard on the XKR-S: the wonderful 16-way adjustable performance front seats, the Jaguar embossed stainless steel pedals, and the lovely jet poltrona Frau Italian leather headlining. As an XKR buyer, I'd also want the speed pack, which increases the car's maximum speed to 174 miles an hour and includes 20-inch Kasuga alloy wheels, a body-coloured rear diffuser and side sill extensions. I might even go further and opt for the even more focused dynamic pack, which, as well as the things I've just mentioned, adds in the suspension changes and performance exhaust system you get on the XKR-S. Optional visual tweaks you can make include opting for one of the classic paint colours that pay homage to Jaguar's racing heritage, or choosing the so-called black pack that I've got here, which replaces exterior chrome with a meaner looking matte black finish and adds 20-inch gloss black wheels. As for safety stuff, well, expect to find a pedestrian-friendly bonnet, anti-whiplash head restraints, 6 airbags and switchable dynamic stability control, and a system with 4 modes including a track DSC circuit setting. You also get a very sophisticated ABS system that can vary the brake pressure at each wheel, allowing drivers to benefit from better steering response during particularly heavy braking. Any car with a 5-litre V8 petrol engine is going to have quite an appetite for fuel. Get used to it. That said, the quoted 23 miles to the gallon combined cycle fuel figure of the XKR I'm driving here, duplicated for the XKR-S, is only a couple of mpg behind that of the standard 5-litre V8 model, which seems a fair price to pay for all this supercharged version's extra performance. Unfortunately though, the 71-litre fuel tank is rather small and you'll empty it within 200 miles of spirited driving. On the plus side, the economy of this car is unaffected by ordering it in convertible form. And that's also true when it comes to the issue of CO2 emissions. The XK model standard 264 grams per kilometre return rises to 292 grams per kilometre in both of the XKR models, which seems a bit excessive when direct German rivals are edging down towards the 200 grams per kilometre mark. It's a showing that predictably won't win you any Christmas cards from the green lobby, though you could try telling your green-minded friends that 50% of the XK's body structure is made from recycled aluminium and that the engine's cylinder heads are recycled to lessen the manufacturing environmental impact. Moving to more positive attributes, it's encouraging from Jaguar's point of view that more recent JD Power customer satisfaction surveys have put the brand ahead of its Teutonic rivals. Now, that could be one reason why depreciation is an area where this car represents a much better bet than some of its predecessors. Some independent specialists suggest that this convertible variant is capable of returning over 50% of its value after 3 years, a figure notably superior to that of a rival Mercedes SL. The XKR's insurance position rises from the Group 48 of a standard XK Coupe to the top-of-the-shop Group 50 rating that every other model in the range must bear. That only leaves servicing, which can be on the expensive side, but it'll be easier to keep control of those costs if you opt for the 3 or 5 year service packs that are available upon purchase. The XK convertible must be almost all things to almost all luxury sports car buyers. A cosseting grand tourer in its standard guise, an out-and-out sports car in top XKR-S form, and a ballistically quick combination of both as a desirable XKR, the version I've been testing here. It's still a touch disappointing that the supposedly lightweight aluminium underpinnings don't produce the actually lightweight result that would allow this car to fully replicate the dynamism of, say, a rival Porsche 911 Cabriolet. But Jaguar now has the F-Type to do that, and anyway, XK compensation comes in the form of ride and refinement better than any 911 can dream of. Better than any rival SL or 6 Series, come to that. Which leaves us with what? The kind of car enthusiasts will cherish years from now. An emotive British convertible sports car that rewards, refines and relaxes your automotive life. German rivals may outpoint it on paper, but on your driveway, you decide. For many, there's still nothing quite like an XK.